My ex's reaction to our breakup was traumatizing and I, 26F, don't want to be friends with him, 36M, anymore. Not going to use a throwaway because he doesn't use Reddit, and frankly speaking, I don't care anymore. We had been together for 7 years, almost 8. It was a long distance relationship. He lives in Canada and I'm from Pakistan. We met through mutual friends and shared a hobby. I didn't care much about marriage or a career at the age of 19. Since I come from a broken family and my dad had married twice, and left us to fend for ourselves, my top priority was working so we could eat and survive. My dad passed away 2 years ago and my mom passed away last year. This changed a lot of things for me and I started taking life more seriously. My mom had always wanted to see me get married and become successful. But more than that, she always wanted to see me happy. He had been struggling to finish his PhD and even switched universities so he could get his degree. He had been promising my mom for 2 years and me for 6 years that he'll work towards getting his degree, and then come see me. I have not seen him in any way these past 7 years. I also come from a culture where there's pressure on women to get married early. Before I knew it, I started falling out of love. It happened slowly, but it started happening 2 years ago. A few days ago, I finally broke things off with him because he kept giving me excuses as to why he couldn't meet me. Told him we could meet in another country. I went to Turkey last year. He didn't come see me there. I told him we can meet in Dubai since getting a visa for Canada is difficult for me. He freaked out and went on about how he can't because now he works as a government officer and people will try to kidnap him in the UAE. He refused to go to Turkey, Azerbaijan, and every other country I listed because I'm an intellectual and people will try to kidnap me. My government says it's unsafe to travel to these countries. He was also didn't want me to visit him because you'll be in a foreign land and I'll have an advantage in Canada. So I finally broke it off with him a few days ago. I told him I just wanted to be friends. He was okay with this. Or so I thought. Yesterday, he kept calling me baby and telling me how much he loves me. I told him it made me uncomfortable because we're just friends. He lashed out. He started crying and shrieking, yes, and threw a huge tantrum. I thought he was having a stroke. He went into full panic mode. I had to tell him that I love him too and that everything will be okay to calm him down. I told him he needed to sleep and he kept saying how I was the love of his life, and that I'm the only one who returned his feelings. He had zero dating success before he met me, and apparently, I was the only one who tried. Told him that I'm starting a new job, and I'll be working with a friend on a business project, so I won't have time for an LDR. He wasn't having it. I've also found someone here that I can be with physically, and it's amazing. After I calmed him down, he went to sleep and I had a major panic attack. I have not been talking to him and barely replied to his messages since yesterday. I don't even want to be friends anymore, but I'm terrified he'll do something to himself or something will happen to him if I cut him off cold turkey. I'm letting it fizzle out on its own because I'll be extremely busy once I start my new job. I'm traumatized and I can't even bring myself to check my phone. Feel like I'm in a daze and he keeps saying I'm being unfair, and that he can't accept this. What should I do? TLDR, broke up with my ex and his reaction was extreme, and traumatized me. I can't even check my phone without panicking anymore. Your parents died and he didn't bother to help you through that. That's all you should really think about. So, you met this man when you were 19 and he was 29. He refused to make any effort to come see you for 7 years and lied about why he couldn't. He threw a fucking tantrum and had a full-on meltdown when you broke up with him. Too long didn't read, yikes. This guy sucks in so many ways. You are not responsible for his feelings at this point, and you shouldn't let him guilt and gaslight you into thinking you are. Honestly, at this point I'd start questioning how much of what he told you about his life was ever even true. If you're the love of his life and there's no one else, why TF did he keep making excuses not to meet you? Block this asshole on all your accounts and live your life unstressed. I went through a similar situation. Very similar, also LDR, never tried to see me. Always tried to have me come to them. Always cancelled plans. I could go on. After ending it, it was a 1.5-year long breakup of manipulative hell. My ex pulled the same shit yours did, and honestly, you have to progressively ignore them. Eventually they give up and drop it. I was with my ex for 4.5 years. Sucks to do, but it's too draining to deal with. Drop him while you still can. I should have dropped mine early on, I didn't, and dealt with the crying, being blamed for everything, and lies for a year and a half. Wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth the time, the stress, none of it. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I'm starting to see a pattern here. I thought because he was always so nice and supportive, and perfect, he would make a great friend. But the way he reacted and refuses to take no as an answer, despite knowing how miserable I am, makes me feel otherwise. The perfect image I had of him is crumbling and I'm terrified of his reactions. Just block him. Simple. What he does to himself is not your issue. He's a grown man capable of making his own decisions. Plus he seems to have weird gaslighting towards you there regarding himself. I have a feeling he is not what he made you believe he is and that why he doesn't want to meet you. Hey there. He needs to accept it. Relationships are only relationships when both parties want in. And given his very weird actions in the past, makes sense that you no longer want in. You're not being unfair. The safest, most painless way out of this is probably to stay firm but kind, maintain boundaries, offer limited and decreasing sympathy, and reduce, or go no contact, if he starts blaming things on you or gets aggressive. If you think he is at risk of harming himself, perhaps reach out to his friends or family so they can support him. If anything did happen though, that would not be your fault. Sorry you've got to deal with this. 3. I 26F found an open Snapchat account on my husband's 27 phone filled with chats from other women. He denied it but I know what I saw. Edited and resubmitted due to language. To start, my husband and I have been together for 5 years and honestly, most of the time, have a dream relationship. He's my best friend and I absolutely adore him. We also have a 4-year-old together. Last night after some fooling around I came back from the bathroom and he asked me to help him with something on his phone, which I did. I then started to close out all his apps because he keeps all of them open at once. That's when I saw Snapchat was open, which I know he doesn't use, or at least I thought he didn't. I decided to open it back up and saw that the chats were all sexy usernames with conversations as recent as 2 days ago. When he realized what I had looked at, he grabbed the phone and then deleted the app. He literally tried to tell me I hallucinated it. Know what I saw? It took me over an hour to get him to admit that he was using it to look at pictures of other women. He said that he found this account on Reddit that multiple guys go into to interact with Snapchat ladies. He said he's had access to it since before he met me. He said the only thing he has done is look at pictures and read other people's conversations. Now this is where I don't believe him because 1. Pretty sure that you can't have multiple people signed into the same Snapchat account. 2. The effing conversations and images disappear so he can't prove to me that it wasn't from him. I adore this man with my entire heart and I feel like I've been stripped of my trust for him. I left for a few hours to calm down last night and my best friend told me he was probably just embarrassed, but we are very honest with what we like, what we watch, what we do, etc. and I don't see why his immediate reaction would be to hide this and lie to me, or why it never came up in conversation before, which I also find weird, which makes me think something is going on. He's now at work and I'm stuck mulling all this over and I'm not sure how to proceed next. I don't want to leave him because I love him, but he broke my trust and I'm still not sure he's telling the full truth to me. Too long didn't read, found out husband had a Snapchat account to chat with other women that may or may not belong to him. Can't tell if he is telling the truth, but I want to believe him for the sake of our family. Why delete the app? I know why. Cause what you'll see on there will make you dump him. Girl, why are you even debating staying? He's thirsty for other women and doesn't think about you. Have some self-respect. I left my kids' dad. My kids are both successful college graduates. Don't think about your kid and think about what he did to you. I'm sorry, but what the hell do you mean you don't know if you believe him? You literally saw it yourself. Do you think he's telling the truth by saying you hallucinated it? Think you should go to therapy, but in the meantime you should absolutely leave him. He's a gaslighting, cheating asshole. Flashing red flags going on. He's cheating. No one would panic like he didn't delete the app if there wasn't something to hide. You know what you saw. You just don't want to deal with it. He's most likely cheating. First he lied to you saying you hallucinated it, then admits to having this Snapchat. And only one person can be logged in on Snapchat at a time. This is clearly a lie. Why would he hide this from you if he wasn't doing anything wrong? Would find a way out of this relationship, because if he's been using that Snapchat before you guys met, then he's been lying all along. He is not a trustworthy husband at all and most likely has been lying to you about more things than this if he can hide this from you or cheat on you. The biggest red flag here is the gaslighting. Nothing good ever follows this. How do I let my boyfriend know he is sometimes makes me insecure and kills my libido without hurting him? Sometimes it feels as if my F18 partner, M19, only views of me as a sexual object. He insists he does not and that I'm just being dumb and insecure. And I honestly hope I am. We meet up maybe 4 to 5 times a week and the end goal always seems to be sex. Every deep or meaningful conversation we have is either received awkwardly, or linked quite bizarrely to sex. An example, I was telling him how my pet rabbit was unwell. I said that I wanted to spend the day alone with my buns because that, on top of a few other things, had me quite worn down. He said something about how he could fuck me good to cheer me up. I honestly don't mind comments like these at all. I just wasn't in the mood and stated such. Specifically, I said I was feeling kind of depressed. He said that me not fucking him was making him depressed. No comments were made on my rabbits or how I was feeling. I've brought up how these sorts of convos make me feel objectified and uncomfortable before, but he doesn't really seem to get it. He says we do not have nearly enough sex in our relationship. Today was complaining that an entire week went by without sex. I asks how much he expects to have, and he said at least 3x a week. I know I do not have a low libido. I am actually quite hypersexual. In past relationships, I was the one with the higher libido and even now I still get off almost daily. But when I feel like a man is using me, my body just kinda shuts down around him. This is all without mentioning the sex itself. I am quite kinky. He is not. This isn't a deal breaker for me. He has issues finishing however, which kinda is. I am very anemic and he likes it when I do a lot of the work. It is hard for me to engage in boring, physically exerting sex for 40 plus minutes without passing out. It just feels like a huge chore. I have tried explaining things to him as lightly as possible, but bringing up how him not being able to finish makes me feel just makes him more insecure about it and thus our problem only worsens. I want to help him fix this issue, and our relationship outside this is wonderful. I want to be able to enjoy having sex with him without feeling insecure and weak. But I don't know how to communicate these issues to him without making him defensive or insecure. Any and all advice is greatly appreciated. Too long didn't read. I want to have sex with my boyfriend but he is making me insecure, which turns me off. Also, this is my first time posting in this sub. Let me know if I need to change anything. He insists he does not view me as a sexual object, and that I'm just being dumb and insecure. Well, that's really rude of him. Why would he say that, apart from to make you feel bad? But when I feel like a man is using me, my body just kinda shuts down around him. Listen to your body and your gut instincts. You're having unsatisfactory sex with a guy that says rude things to you. He seems to treat you as a sex robot, without consideration of your feelings. Our relationship outside this is wonderful. Does that matter? He's not treating you respectfully with regards to the core element of a romantic/sexual relationship. He's whining and moaning because he does not get the kind of sex he wants.